The battle that followed would be studied in militaries across the galaxy for generations, not because it was long or difficult, but because it redefined what warfare meant in the modern age. Captain Woojin Ryu watched from the bridge of his dreadnought Nguyen as human ships emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system like predators revealing themselves to cornered prey. All units, this is Admiral Kim, came the voice over the fleet communication system. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth today. We're establishing humanity's place in galactic civilization. Make it count. The Vorak fleet charged forward with the desperation of a species that had ruled for 10,000 years and could not accept that their time was ending. Grand Admiral Vorak's flagship led the attack, its massive hull bristling with weapons that had conquered dozens of worlds. Enemy fleet approaching attack range, reported Lieutenant Hugh Kim from her tactical station aboard New Busausen. They're targeting Aegis Terra with everything they have. Let them come, Wu Jin replied calmly. Weapons, prepare the quantum disruption array, target their flagship. What happened next demonstrated the fundamental difference between galactic military thinking and human innovation. The Vorak fleet fired first, launching thousands of plasma torpedoes and energy beams at Aegis Terra. Their weapons had enough destructive power to crack Moon. None of them reached their target. Around Aegis Terra, defensive systems that existed beyond alien understanding intercepted every incoming weapon. Energy shields didn't just deflect the attacks, they absorbed them and fed the energy back into the ship's power systems. Missile interceptors didn't just destroy incoming torpedoes, they converted the explosions into additional ammunition for human weapons. Impossible, Forthek's voice screamed over the communication channels. Our weapons are striking their ship directly. Why isn't it taking damage? Captain Minyu Zhang answered from the bridge of Aegis Terra. Grand Admiral, you're still thinking in terms of your own technology. You see shields as barriers to break through. We see incoming energy as fuel for our reactors. All human vessels commence attack, Admiral Kim ordered. What followed was not a battle in any traditional sense. It was a demonstration of technological superiority so complete that resistance became meaningless. Human ships didn't just outgun their enemies, they operated by principles that alien science couldn't even understand. The quantum disruption array aboard New Busan fired a single shot at Vorak's flagship. The beam didn't destroy the ship's hull or overload its systems. Instead, it disrupted the quantum bonds holding the vessel's atoms together. The massive alien dreadnought simply fell apart, its component elements drifting into space as if the ship had never existed. Target eliminated, Lieutenant Hwan reported. No debris, no survivors, complete molecular dissolution. Move to the next target, Wu Jin ordered. Across the battlefield, human ships systematically dismantled. The Vorak fleet using weapons that seemed to violate the known laws of physics. The gravity cannon aboard Captain Yoon-suk Lee's vessel created localized black holes that consumed entire squadrons of enemy ships. The temporal displacement generator on Captain Junho Park's dreadnought sent alien vessels backward in time, erasing them from the present moment. Admiral, reported intelligence officer De Yun Lim from her station on Aegis Terra. We're receiving communication intercepts from Across the galaxy, the destruction of the Vorak fleet is being broadcast in real time to every major civilization. What's their reaction? Admiral Kim asked. Terror, sir, absolute terror. The hegemony of K has just announced their surrendering their entire military to human authority. The Crystal Matriarchy is offering to become a human protectorate. Over 2,000 star systems have signaled complete submission in the last 10 minutes. Around Earth, the remaining alien fleets that hadn't already fled were sending frantic surrender signals. None of them wanted to face the same fate as the proud Vorak Empire, sir. Communications Officer Jin Han reported, we're receiving a priority transmission from the former Galactic Council chambers. It's being broadcast on all frequencies across known space. Put it through. The main screen showed a gathering of alien representatives, their faces displaying various expressions of fear, awe, and desperate hope. The speaker was a tall, graceful being from the ethereal collective, one of the galaxy's oldest species. Humans of Earth, the alien began, its voice trembling with emotion. We speak for the civilizations of the galaxy. We have witnessed your power and acknowledge our error in threatening your people. Admiral Kim gestured for Captain Minhota. Respond. We are listening, the captain said simply. We beg for mercy, the alien continued. Our species have made many mistakes throughout galactic history, but none so grave as believing we could dictate terms to Earth's children. We offer complete surrender and ask only that you allow our civilizations to continue existing. An interesting request. Admiral Kim and LT Unk and GT's voice came over the channel. Dr. Cheng Wu Kang, what does our intelligence tell us about galactic civilization? Dr. Kang appeared on screen, in his expression thoughtful. Admiral, our analysis shows that most galactic species are not inherently evil. They're simply products of a system that rewarded aggression and punished weakness. Remove the system and the behavior changes. Explain. For millennia, the galaxy has operated under what we might call might makes right principles. Stronger species dominated weaker ones because that's how the system worked. Now that humanity has demonstrated overwhelming superiority, that same system will naturally create more peaceful galaxy, one where species succeed through cooperation rather than conquest. Captain Minu turned back to the alien representatives. We accept your surrender, but not your offer of slavery. Humanity has no interest in ruling through fear or domination. Then what do you want from us? The ethereal representative asked, confusion evident in its voice. We want you to be better than you were. Admiral Kim replied, the galactic civilization that threatened to enslave or exterminate humanity is ending today. What replaces it will be built on different principles, principles that value cooperation over conquest, innovation over domination, and if we refuse, then you'll discover what happens when humanity stops being patient with species that threaten innocent worlds. Captain Minu said quietly, we've shown you our defensive capabilities. You really don't want to see what we've built for offensive operations across the galaxy. The message was clear. The age of galactic empires built on military conquest was ending. Humanity had emerged from hiding, and the balance of power had shifted so completely that resistance was not just futile, it was unthinkable. The war was over before it had truly begun. Now came the much more difficult task of building a galaxy worth living in. The destruction of the asteroid had sent shock waves through every alien fleet in the solar system, but Admiral Hyun-woo Kim knew that some species responded to fear with even greater aggression. As he watched the tactical displays aboard Aegis Terra, he saw exactly what he had expected. While some fleets were retreating, others were preparing for a desperate attack. Admiral reported Tactical Officer Bo Ram Shin, the Vorak fleet is moving to attack formation. Grand Admiral Vorak is broadcasting threats to his remaining allies. Hyun-woo nodded grimly. He had studied alien psychology for decades, and the Vorak were notorious for their pride. They would rather die fighting than admit they had made a catastrophic mistake. Put him through, the Admiral ordered. The main screen flickered to show Vorak's scaled face, now twisted with rage and desperation. Humans, you may have some kind of experimental super weapon, but you have only one ship. We still have 9 fleets. When we coordinate our attack, your precious vessel will be nothing but debris. Grand Admiral Hyun-woo replied calmly, "You're making the same mistake you've been making for 50 years. You're still thinking too small." "What do you mean?" "You see one ship and assume that's all we have. You see one demonstration and assume that's the limit of our power." Hyun-woo gestured to Captain Minyu Jang, who began entering commands at his station. "Captain, show our guests what else has been hiding in our solar system, around the edges of the solar system, in the asteroid belts and the shadows of gas. Giant, massive shapes began to move. What the aliens had assumed were mining stations and research outposts suddenly revealed their true nature. Weapons platforms the size of cities powered up their systems. Battle stations that had been disguised as asteroids shed their camouflage and emerged into open space. "Impossible," Vorak whispered as his sensors detected dozens of installations that rivaled the firepower of entire fleets. "Dr. Chang Wu Kang, our chief scientist, has been monitoring your communications," Hyun-woo said. "Doctor, please share what you've learned about our guest's current state of mind." Dr. Kang appeared on a smaller screen, his elderly face showing grim satisfaction. "Admiral, the alien fleets are in complete panic. Their commanders are receiving contradictory orders from their home governments. Some species are ordering immediate retreat, while others are demanding they fight to the death rather than face the shame of defeat." "And what about the rest of the galaxy?" "News of our demonstration has spread faster than we anticipated. We're intercepting communications from civilizations thousands of light years away. They're all asking the same question: how long have the humans been this powerful?" Vorak's red eyes narrowed. "You're bluffing. This is all some kind of trick. No species could hide this much military strength." "Grand Admiral, would you like us to provide another demonstration?" Yan-woo asked politely. "Perhaps something a bit more comprehensive." Before Vorak could respond, Intelligence Officer Diane Lim interrupted from her station. "Admiral, we're receiving surrender transmissions from multiple star systems. The Kelt Empire has just announced they're withdrawing all forces from human claimed territories. The Zapirian Republic is requesting immediate peace negotiations." "How many systems?" Hyun-woo asked. "Over 300 so far, sir, and the number is growing every minute." Yan-woo Turned back to the alien commander. Grand Admiral, it seems your fellow council members are more intelligent than you gave them credit for. They understand that when humans reveal a capability, it's usually because we have 10 more capabilities we haven't shown. Yet you're lying, Borax snarled. Humanity is a young species. You've only had space flight for a few hundred years. How could you possibly have built all of this? Captain Minujang stepped forward, his expression thoughtful. Grand Admiral, may I ask how old your species is? The Vorak Empire has existed for over 10,000 years, Vorak replied proudly. And in all that time, how much is your technology advanced? The alien commander paused, confused by the question. We have made steady improvements. Our ships are more efficient, our weapons more powerful. But nothing revolutionary, Minyu observed, nothing that fundamentally changed how you understand the universe. What is your point, human? My point is that your species, like most in the galaxy, reached technological maturity and then stopped growing. You became comfortable with your power and assumed that the limits you had reached were the limits of what was possible. Haiyan Wu smiled coldly. Humans don't think that way. We assume that every limit can be broken, every barrier can be overcome. While you spent 10,000 years making small improvements to existing technology, we spent 50 years completely redefining what technology could accomplish. Impossible, Forthak repeated, but his voice lacked conviction. Captain Wu Jin Ryu status report on hidden fleet deployment. Haiyan Wu called out. A new voice joined the communication channel. Admiral, this is Captain Ryu aboard the dreadnought New Busan. Hidden Fleet Gamma is emerging from Jupiter's atmosphere as ordered. We have 47 vessels ready for combat operations. Hidden Fleet Delta Captain Eunuch Lee reporting from the Saturn orbital yards. 63 vessels standing by. Hidden Fleet Epsilon, this is Captain Junho Park from the Kuiper Belt installations. 112 vessels awaiting orders. As each fleet reported in, Vorak's confident expression crumbled. The humans weren't just revealing one secret weapon, they were revealing an entire hidden navy that dwarfed anything the Galactic Council had ever assembled. Admiral Dawn reported, we're now receiving surrender offers from over 800 star systems. The Galactic Council itself has just dissolved. Host member species are fleeing to their home territories, and our friends here. Haiyan Wu asked, gesturing toward the remaining alien fleets. 5 fleets have withdrawn beyond the helipause. 4 are requesting permission to surrender. The Vorak fleet is she paused, checking her readings. The Vorak fleet appears to be preparing for a suicide attack. Haiyan Wu sighed. He had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but some species simply couldn't accept reality when it contradicted their view of the universe. Grand Admiral Vorak, he said, his voice carrying a note of genuine sadness, your empire has existed for 10,000 years. Your species has contributed art, literature, and scientific knowledge to galactic civilization. Don't throw all of that away because you can't accept that. Humans are no longer the weak prey you thought we were. Better to die with honor than live in shame, Vorak replied, his scaled face set in grim determination. As you wish, Haiyan Wu said simply. All ships prepare for combat operations. Show them what humanity has learned about warfare. While they thought we were helpless, they Demonstration was over. The real test was about to begin. The Pacific Ocean had always been Earth's largest body of water, covering nearly half the planet's surface, what no one outside humanity's inner circle knew was that beneath its deepest trenches lay something that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Captain Minyu Zhang felt the deck beneath his feet vibrate as massive engines came online for the first time in 50 years. Around him, the bridge of Aegis Terra hummed with activity as hundreds of crew members took their positions at stations that had only existed in simulations. Until this moment, status report Minyu called out, his voice carrying easily across the enormous command center. The bridge itself was larger than most starship hangars, designed to coordinate not just a single vessel but an entire planetary defense system, all primary systems online. Captain reported Chief Engineer Dongmin Li, his hands dancing across control panels that had been waiting decades for this activation. Fusion cores at full power, structural integrity holding at optimal levels. Communications, give me a full spectrum scan of alien fleet positions, Minyu ordered. Lieutenant Yajin Han worked quickly at her station. Sir, all 12 fleets are maintaining bombardment formation. They haven't detected our movement yet. Their sensors are focused on surface installations. Minyu nodded. The aliens were still thinking like conquerors, positioning themselves to destroy a helpless planet. They had no idea that the planet was about to fight back. Engineering begins surface breach. Protocol, ISR initiating oceanic displacement sequence. What happened next would be remembered by every species in the galaxy for the rest of their history. The ocean floor, which had seemed solid and permanent for millions of years, began to crack open. Like an eggshell, massive sections of seafloor shifted and moved as something impossible rose from the depths. On the surface, waves hundreds of meters high raced outward as the Pacific Ocean was displaced by the emergence of Aegis Terra. The ship was not just large, it defied every understanding of what constituted a vessel. At over 200 km in length and nearly as wide, it was less of a starship and more of a mobile world. Surface breach in 30 seconds. Dongmin announced, all stations report ready for atmospheric transition. Through the massive viewing screen that dominated the front of the bridge, Minyu watched as sunlight appeared for the first time in 50 years. The crystalline hull of Aegis Terra gleamed like a jewel as it broke through the ocean surface, water cascading off its sides and waterfalls that could be seen from orbit. Captain called out navigation officer Sun. Oh, we have achieved full surface deployment, all systems functioning normally. Excellent. Communications, open a channel to all alien fleets. Let's introduce ourselves properly. Yajin's fingers flew over her controls. Channel open, sir. Broadcasting on all frequencies. Minyu stood up from his command chair and walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, the massive ship continued its rise, lifting completely clear of Earth's surface and hovering in the atmosphere like an impossible dream made real. Attention, vessels of the Galactic Council, he began, his voice carrying to every alien ship in the solar system. This is Captain Minyu Zhang of the Terran vessel Aegis Terra. You have 30 minutes to withdraw beyond the helipause or be destroyed. The response came quickly from Grand Admiral Vorak, his voice filled with Disbelief and growing fear. This is impossible. No ship that size could exist. Our sensors must be malfunctioning. I assure you, Grand Admiral, your sensors are working perfectly. Minu replied calmly. What you're seeing is the product of 50 years of careful planning and preparation. Earth's children have been busy while you thought us primitive. On the tactical display, alien fleets were beginning to reposition themselves. Some ships were moving away from Earth, their commanders smart enough to recognize an impossible threat when they saw one. Others moved closer, their weapons charging for attack. Captain reported. Tactical Officer Bohm Shin, 8 fleets are maintaining attack positions. 4 are beginning to withdraw. The lead Vorak fleet is charging main weapons. Their choice, Minu said simply. Weapons. Prepare the stellar convergence array for demonstration firing. Chief Weapons Officer Takong Bei looked up from his station, his eyes bright with anticipation. Sir, the array has been ready for 15 years. Target selection. Minu studied the tactical display, then pointed to a small moon orbiting beyond Earth's defensive perimeter. That asteroid, remove it from existence. I, sir. Charging stellar convergence array to 10% power around the ship. Massive weapon systems that had been hidden within Aegis Terra's hull began to emerge. The stellar convergence array was humanity's greatest achievement. Weapon that drew power directly from Earth's planetary core and focused it into a beam capable of unmaking matter. At the atomic level, array charged and ready. Captain Taeyong reported fire. What happened next redefined the alien understanding of warfare. A beam of pure energy, brighter than a star and more focused than anything they had ever imagined possible, reached out from Aegis Terra and touched the small asteroid that Minu had selected. The asteroid didn't explode, it didn't break apart or melt or burn, it simply ceased to exist. Every atom in its structure converted to energy and scattered into space where solid rock had existed. Moments before, there was now only empty vacuum on alien bridges throughout the solar system. Crew members stared at their sensors in complete shock. Humans hadn't just destroyed a target. They had erased it from reality itself. How is this possible? Vorak demanded over the communication channel. No. Weapons should be capable of complete atomic dissolution. Grand Admiral, you're thinking too small. Minu replied. You see a weapon, we see applied physics. When you have the industrial capacity of an entire solar system and 50 years to perfect your technology, remarkable things become possible. Captain Sun reported. 3 more fleets are withdrawing. The remaining 5 are holding position but have stopped charging weapons. Wise of them, Minu commented. Communications. Send a message to all human vessels throughout the galaxy. Tell them the home world is secure and that it's time to reveal themselves. As Yajin transmitted the order, Minu turned to address his bridge crew. For 50 years, we've hidden our true strength. We've let the galaxy believe we were weak and helpless. Today that deception ends. He looked out at the alien fleet still surrounding Earth, their massive ship suddenly seeming small and fragile compared to the impossible vessel that had risen from humanity's home world. Today the galaxy learns that Earth's children are no longer hiding, and tomorrow they'll discover what that means for the balance of power in civilized space. The demonstration was Complete, the message was clear. Humanity had revealed its hand, and the galaxy would never be the same. Commander Gun Choi stood on the bridge of the heavy cruiser Soul's Pride, watching the alien fleets arranged themselves around Earth like vultures, circling their prey. The 12 invasion forces had arrived exactly on schedule, their massive ships blotting out entire sections of stars. Each fleet contained enough firepower to reduce a planet to ash. Ma'am, her tactical officer reported, the aliens are taking positions at optimal bombardment range. They're confident we can't touch them. From here, Jian nodded, her expression calm despite the terrible sight before them. Around her, the bridge crew worked at their stations with steady hands. None of them showed the panic that alien commanders would expect from a doomed species. Communications, patch me through to all ships in the defense fleet, she ordered. Channel open. Commander Gi looked directly into the camera that would broadcast her image to every human vessel in the solar system. This is Commander Choi to all units. In approximately 30 minutes, we're going to show our guests something they don't expect. Maintain your positions and prepare for revelation protocol. She closed the channel and turned to her science officer, Dr. Seong Ho Yun. The elderly man had been monitoring alien communication since the fleets arrived. Doctor, what are they saying about us? Dr. Yun adjusted his glasses and checked his translation computer. The usual contempt, Commander. They're discussing which planets to colonize after they destroy us. Some are arguing about who gets to claim Earth's water resources and their assessment of our military strength. They consider us essentially harmless. Their intelligence reports show we have fewer than 1,000 combat vessels, most of them what they classify as light patrol craft. They believe our most powerful weapons are nuclear missiles. Jian almost laughed. Nuclear weapons. The aliens thought humanity's greatest achievement was splitting atoms. They had no idea what Earth's children had actually been building in the dark spaces between worlds. Doctor, it's time to educate them. Send a transmission to the lead Galactic Council ship. Tell them we're ready to discuss surrender terms. Dr. Yun raised an eyebrow but followed orders. Within minutes, the main screen flickered to life, showing the interior of an alien command bridge. Grand Admiral Vorek appeared, his four red eyes gleaming with satisfaction. So the humans have come to their senses, the alien commander said. I admit I expected more resistance from your species. Your reputation suggested a certain stubbornness. We are a practical people, Gun replied smoothly. Before we discuss terms, we'd like to show you something. Consider it a gesture of good faith. Borthak's scaled face showed amusement. What could your primitive species possibly show us that would be of interest? Our true industrial capacity, Ji-yoon said simply. She nodded to Dr. Yun, who began transmitting a data package to the alien fleet. The information contained detailed scans of humanity's real manufacturing base hidden in the outer solar system for 50 years. On the alien bridge, technical officers began examining the data. Gon watched as confusion spread across their faces. One of them approached Vorek and whispered urgently in his ear, "This data must be fabricated," the Grand Admiral declared. "You're claiming to have industrial facilities larger than anything in Council space. Impossible. The series industrial complex alone produces more starships per year than your entire empire, Dr. Yun said calmly. The Jupiter orbital yards could build a fleet the size of yours in less than 6 months. Lieutenant HFY Kim, monitoring long-range sensors from her position, spoke quietly to Jian. Commander, the alien scouts are moving. To verify our claims, they're heading toward the outer system. Let them look. Jun replied, it's time they learned the truth about Earth's children. As alien reconnaissance ships raced toward the outer planets, Dr. Yun continued his explanation. For 50 years, you've been watching our surface activities and assuming that's all we're capable of. Your observers saw us launching primitive rockets and celebrated our lack of advanced technology. What you didn't see, Jen added, were the asteroid mining ships, each one larger than your biggest dreadnought. You didn't notice the manufacturing complexes hidden in gas giant atmospheres. You never detected the shipyards we built in deep space beyond your sensor range. Forax confident expression began to fade as reports came in from his scouting vessels. The aliens were finding exactly what the humans claimed: massive industrial installations that dwarfed anything they had imagined possible. This is impossible, the Grand Admiral repeated. Our intelligence network has been monitoring your species for decades. How could we miss something this large? Because we wanted you to miss it, Dr. Yun explained. Every transmission you intercepted was carefully planned. Every facility you observed was designed to look primitive. We've been showing you exactly what we wanted you to see. On her tactical display, Jian watched as more alien ships moved to investigate human claims. Soon they would discover the truth about humanity's real strength. But there was one secret even larger than the hidden industrial base. Commander, Lieutenant Hewen reported, I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations from Earth's Pacific region. Something big is powering up down there. Jun checked her chronometer. Right on schedule, Dr. Yun. Tell our alien friends that they're about to witness the culmination of 50 years of preparation. What are you talking about? Forthak demanded. His confident demeanor had completely disappeared, replaced by growing alarm. Grand Admiral, your species made a critical error. Gon said, you assumed that because we appeared primitive, we actually were primitive. You thought that because we seemed weak, we had no choice but to submit to your will. She stood up from her command chair and walked closer to the screen. What you failed to consider is that humans are very good at patience. We're excellent at planning, and we never ever forget an insult. The alien commander's red eyes narrowed. What are you implying? I'm implying that when you gave us the choice between slavery and extinction, you forgot about a third option. Jun replied, the option where we refuse both and take our rightful place as your superiors. Lieutenant HFY's voice cut through the tension on the bridge. Commander, massive displacement detected in the Pacific Ocean. Whatever's down there, it's enormous. On the alien bridge, technical officers were frantically checking their sensors. One of them shouted something in their native language, his voice filled with panic. What is it? Forthak demanded. Sir, our deep space sensors are detecting something rising from the human home world. The mass readings are impossible. Nothing that large should be able to exist. Dr. Yun smiled at the alien commander. Grand Admiral, allow me to introduce you to humanity's real defense system. We call it Aegis Terra. You might think of it as our way of saying goodbye to galactic civilization. As you know it, the transmission ended as Vorak cut the channel, leaving the human bridge in satisfied silence. Around Earth, 12 alien fleets suddenly found themselves facing a species that had been preparing for this moment for half a century. The deception was over. The revelation was about to begin. Admiral Hyan Woo Kim stood before the massive viewing screen aboard the orbital station New Seoul, watching the stars twinkle in the endless black of space. The peaceful sight would soon be shattered forever. A red alert klaxon suddenly pierced the quiet bridge, and communications officer Yejin Han rushed to her station. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission on all frequencies, she reported, her voice tight with concern. It's coming from multiple sources across the galaxy. Put it through, Hyan Woo ordered, his weathered face showing no emotion despite the ice forming in his stomach. The screen flickered and the image of a towering alien creature appeared. Its scaled face bore 4 glowing red eyes, and when it spoke, its voice carried the weight of absolute authority. This was Grand Admiral Vorak of the Galactic Council, leader of the most powerful alliance in known space. Humans of the third planet, the alien began, its words dripping with contempt. Your time of independence has ended. For too long, you have existed on the edge of civilized space, believing yourselves safe from our notice. This was your mistake. Han Wu felt his hands clenched behind his back. Around him, the bridge crew remained silent, their training keeping them focused despite the fear he knew they all felt. The Galactic Council has voted. Vorak continued, your species will submit to complete integration into our empire. You will surrender your weapons, your ships, and your government. Your people will serve as workers in our industrial complexes. Your planet will become a resource extraction site. The alien paused, its red eyes seeming to stare directly at Hyan Woo through the screen. You have 72 hours to signal your complete surrender. If you refuse, 12 battle fleets will arrive to sterilize your world. Every human city will burn. Every human life will end. Your choice is simple, slavery or extinction. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Han Wu turned to face his officers, seeing the mix of fear and anger on their faces. Lieutenant HFY Kim, barely 25 years old, spoke first. Sir, are they serious? Do they really think we'll just surrender? Before Hyan Woo could answer, Captain So Young Park's voice crackled over the communication system from her reconnaissance ship, Busan Rising, stationed at the edge of the solar system. Admiral, you need to see this. So Young reported, I'm sending you our long-range sensor data now. The main screen changed to show a tactical display of space beyond their solar system. Hyan Woo and LT Unk and GT's breath caught in his throat. 12 massive fleets were moving toward them, each one containing hundreds of ships. The aliens weren't bluffing. How long until they arrive? He asked. At their current speed, approximately 70 hours, So Young replied. Sir, I've never seen fleets this large. Each one could destroy a dozen worlds. Communications officer Jin looked up from her station, her face pale. Admiral, we're receiving surrender demands from other human colonies throughout this sector. The aliens are giving everyone the same ultimatum. Hyan. Wu nodded slowly. This was exactly what Earth's leaders had feared for 50 years. Ever since humanity's first contact with galactic civilization, they had known this day would come. The galaxy was not a peaceful place. It was ruled by empires that saw newer species as either slaves or threats to be eliminated. Sir, Lieutenant Haywin said quietly. What are your orders? Should we begin evacuation procedures? Yin Wu almost smiled at the question. The young officer had no idea what humanity had been preparing for all these years. Very few people did. The secret had been kept so well that even most of Earth's military believed they were as helpless as the aliens thought. Contact engineer Dongman Li, Hyan Wu ordered, tell him it's time to begin the activation sequence. Ijin frowned. Sir, I don't have an engineer Li in the station directory. He's not on the station. Hyan Wu replied. Send the message to Pacific Deep Station. Authorization code Tiguk 77 Alpha. The communications officer's fingers flew over her controls, then stopped. Her eyes widened as new information appeared on her screen. Sir, I'm showing a facility I've never seen before. The computer is requesting additional clearance codes. Tell them Admiral Kim is authorizing Project Tuck activation, full implementation. Around the bridge, confused murmurs began as the crew tried to understand what was happening. Project Tiguk was not in any database they had access to. Most of them had never even heard the name. Sir, Hewen asked carefully. What is Project Tuck? Hun Wu walked to the viewing screen and placed his hand on the cool metal frame. For 50 years, humanity had played a careful game. They had shown the galaxy exactly what the aliens expected to see, a young species with primitive technology struggling to build simple spacecraft and establish basic colonies. Lieutenant, what do you know about Earth's industrial capacity? He asked. Sir, we have approximately 400 orbital facilities, 57 lunar installations and mining operations on Mars and in the asteroid belt. That's what our public records show. Yan Wu agreed, and that's what alien observers have been reporting to their governments. For 5 decades, he turned to face his crew, and for the first time in years he allowed himself to smile. It was not a pleasant expression. The truth is somewhat different. On his personal communicator, a soft chime indicated that engineer Dongman Li had received the activation order. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in facilities that had been built in absolute secrecy over the course of 50 years, ancient machinery began to wake up. Admiral So Young's voice came from the speakers again. I'm detecting some kind of energy buildup from Earth's surface. My sensors are showing massive power fluctuations coming from the Pacific Ocean. How massive? Hyan Wu asked. Sir, the readings don't make sense. The power output I'm seeing would require the industrial capacity of an entire solar system. That's impossible. Hyan Wu walked back to his command chair and sat down slowly. Around him, his crew watched with growing confusion and hope. The Admiral's calm confidence was infectious, but they still didn't understand why he wasn't panicking like every other human leader in the galaxy. Open a channel to all human colonies and ships, he ordered. Send them a single message. The children are coming home. As Yejin sent the cryptic message, Yan Wu thought about the choice the aliens had given humanity: slavery or extinction. They had forgotten to Consider a third option, 50 years ago, when humanity had first learned about the galaxy's true nature, Earth's. Leaders had made a decision. They would not be victims, they would prepare, and when the time came, they would remind the galaxy of something it had forgotten. Patience was humanity's greatest weapon, and their patience was about to end.